The 1930s brought about many changes for the American farmer, and through their perseverance gave birth to the great American breadbasket. Since that time, we have learned the importance of partnering with the land and the value of continuing education for future generations.
The land is our investment. And without good land, we're not going to have good crops. I love my husband. He makes the statement, we're not farming for us. We're farming for our children and our children's children.
In the United States, wheat is grown in 42 states, growing 6 different types and covering nearly 64 million acres of land, producing 2.5 billion bushels of wheat every year.
Farms that are growing at least 500 acres, I think it's like 29,000 farms. But if you count all the farms, it's over 160,000.
Throughout the nation, there are 2 million farmers, but 6 times that many people are involved in the industries directly or indirectly related to agriculture.
Agriculture is a vast industry. It has a lot of components in it, including the farmers who actually till the ground. And you have the transportation industry, you have the storage industry, milling and baking, the processing, the making into other food products. Agriculture by itself employs around 21 million people.
Careers today in agriculture require far more education and training than ever before. There's over 300 different types of career in agriculture today. Agriculture is a growing area and it will always be with us. You know, we're working hard to help our young people see an advantage and see an opportunity for that career in agriculture. And we've developed the Ag Career Network as a tool for them to bring that career success to life.
The United States ranks 4th in wheat production, but number 1 in exporting. We're shipping 50% of all the wheat we produce overseas to Japan, Mexico, Egypt, and many more countries.
We export more wheat than any other country, single country. We produce enough wheat in this country to feed ourselves and then have half the crop we grow every year available to be sold overseas and used overseas.
We use wheat in 2 different ways, either as whole grain or milled as flour. Wheat milled turns into a lot of different products like bread and crackers, cookies, cereal, pizza, desserts, salad dressing, and of course, pasta. Today's farmer impacts almost every aspect of our daily lives. The uses for wheat are far-reaching and vast. Take, for instance, Ray Reichel. He's located in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and he produces a product known as wheat meat, or simply seitan.
I've been waiting to do a seitan, Reuben, because I thought it'd make for a much better sandwich. Turns out I was right.
This meat replacement has flour in common with bread, yet when prepared takes on the texture and look of meat. It's made by rinsing away the starch in the flour, leaving behind the high-protein gluten. So the next time you're driving through Asheville, North Carolina, stop by the Plant Restaurant and ask for the Reuben sandwich. Tell them Ray sent you. Today, wheat plays a vital role as a staple food in both developing and developed nations, providing 20% of the protein consumed by 4.5 billion people every year.
We're feeding the world. When we look at what we do here, we're feeding your family and millions of families around the world.
When all is said and done, wheat is still produced by family farms, like the Kalsevec family, a 4th-generation farming operation in Bennett, Colorado.
We have been farming in this area for over 100 years. My husband's grandfather and great-grandfather were part of the farm, and now his father and brother. And my husband farms along with him and his 2 cousins. So we currently have 6 families that are supported by Kalsevec Farms and about 15 employees.
Midsummer is the busiest time of the year for wheat farmers on the Great Plains because harvest is just around the corner. Men and women dedicated, like Mel Gosen from Corn, Oklahoma, who continues to custom harvest just like his father did in 1945.
Their investment in equipment And you're talking thousands of acres to make a living for that family and for his wife and his kids. There's nobody going to go to Vegas and give away their whole life. Farmers put that much into farming. It's their whole life. I mean, he's putting a big investment in there, not knowing whether he's going to get anything.
The future of agriculture lies within the hands of our children, and today the National FFA organization teaches young men and women the importance of agriculture through educational and leadership programs designed to lead the way through a changing world.
Since 1928, when FFA started, it was a part of vocational agriculture. It was where young people wanted to learn how and develop skills to be better farmers. It's developed more of that science and that technology and that business and that application of technology into the job of agriculture.
With nearly 7,500 chapters and over 500,000 members, FFA students are prepared to take the challenge of supplying food to billions of people.
Farmers are the quintessential environmentalists. Why would we do something to the land that we live on that creates our livelihood?
We've come a long way from the ravages of the Dust Bowl, and though we still experience the challenges of nature, we build on each lesson learned and discover new ways to use technology to improve our efficiency with the land and become more sustainable.
Being a good steward of the land, and what you take off you replace, and you just don't continually mine the soil, you put back.
He points out to a small kernel and he says, can you imagine the impact this one little kernel has had on the entire world, that we and the entire industry is based on that one little seed.
Yet one constant remains for all farmers. Each crop begins with a single seed and the faith that what he has invested into the land will eventually produce a harvest. As Thomas Jefferson said, cultivators of the earth are the most valuable citizens. They're the most vigorous, the most independent, and the most virtuous, and they're tied to their country and wedded to its liberty and interests by the most lasting of bands.
Harvesting the High Plains. Contact your local public television station for schedule. Harvesting the High Plains thanks the following for their support. Gleaner, built with the farmer in mind. Be Ready with Case IH. Ultra Grain Whole Wheat Flour, Whole Grain Nutrition, White Flour Appeal. The National Association of Wheat Growers, the FFA, Learning to Do, Doing to Learn, Earning to Live, Living to Serve. The Kansas Foundation for Agriculture in the Classroom, as well as